Okay, welcome back to this broadcast. Sorry for that brief interruption. We're back online, and you can call a friend to tell a friend that Hot TV and Hot FM are bringing you exclusive coverage of events that are unfolding here at the Samuel Kayando Sports Complex. Again, this is the inaugural ceremony of Liberia's 25th president, His Excellency President-elect George Weah, and also the Vice President-elect, Her Excellency Madam Jewel Howard Taylor. Indeed, 74 years after Liberia is witnessing a smooth democratic transition of political power from one democratically elected government to another democratically elected government. And we're bringing you all the actualities, all the events as they unfold here at the open air Samuel Kayando Sports pitch. And as you may be aware, there are several international and local guests who have already arrived and taken their seats. And let me just give you a laundry list of some of those individuals who have arrived and have already taken their seat. The President of the Republic of Liberia, Her Excellency Madam Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, has already arrived and taken her seat, and she's seated by His Excellency the Vice President Ambassador Joseph Newman Boakai. He's already here and he is taking his seat. And also we have the Vice President-elect, Her Excellency Senator Jewel Howard Taylor, and they've already arrived and they've already taken their seat. And that is to tell you that any moment from now, according to protocol, any moment from now, the President-elect is expected to arrive from the main entry, from the main VIP entry, I beg your pardon. Any moment from now, the President-elect, His Excellency Ambassador George Manneh Weah, will arrive from the main VIP entry, and so we're gonna see how we can get. I'm on it. Any moment from now, we're gonna see how we can get a hold of the program sheet to be able to get a clear view of all of the events that are unfolding here. All right, we have the souvenir program for the inauguration. The souvenir program for the inauguration of Ambassador George Manneh Weah, President-elect, and Senator Jewel Howard Taylor, Vice President-elect of the Republic of Liberia. And let's see whether we can flip through. Let's see whether we can flip through to this laundry list of this list of several of the official programs that are happening here. Again, let's give you a laundry list of some of the guests who have already arrived and taken their seat. We have the President of the Republic of Ghana, Dr. Akufo-Addo, the former presidents of Ghana, Mr. John Dramani Mahama, and Mr. Jerry John Rawlings. They've already arrived and they've taken their seats already. We have J.J. Okocha of the Super Eagles, former international soccer icon J.J. Okocha, one time played for Everton, and he's a great friend of the President-elect, and he's already here. He's already taken a seat. And Samuel Eto'o is already here to grace the occasion, and the hosts of other foreign dignitaries that have arrived. And so according to the official program, any moment from now, around 10:55, the President-elect and Mrs. Weah will be met and escorted by the Joint Legislative Committee through the VIP entrance and escorted to the seat that is reserved for them. And the noise you can hear is a signal that the President-elect of the Republic of Liberia is about to enter. The President-elect of the Republic of Liberia, His Excellency George Manneh Weah, President-elect of the Republic of Liberia, is about to gracefully enter through the VIP entrance. I tell you folks, it is indeed ecstatic here. It is indeed ecstatic here as President-elect George Manneh Toulon Sekozy Osman Weah is triumphantly entering the Samuel Kando Sports page. He's done all in white. He's done all in his white suit, and there are scores of security officers ranging from the Liberia National Police to the Armed Forces to personal protection detail to members of the elite emergency response unit to members of several security apparatus that are ensuring that President-elect George Weah gracefully enters the seat reserved for him. And he's all done in his white suit. And he waves to the crowd. And the crowd greets back with jeers and cheers. He waves back to the crowd. And the President, Her Excellency, Madam Ellen Johnson Sirleaf hugs him. Madam Sirleaf hugs him. And he's gradually moving. He's in a white gown. And he's greeting the Vice President. And he hugs his wife. And this is a solemn moment. And the justices, the associate justices of the Supreme Court of Liberia and the Chief Justice Francis Kokpo, they are there, and the President-elect George Weah has greeted them, and he's greeting them one at a time on the platform, on the central stage, and the crowd is jeering. The crowd is jeering. They're singing in, oh my God, they're singing the traditional cheer song to welcome His Excellency the President-elect of the Republic of Liberia. Welcome Duncan, Hot FM 107.9, Hot TV Channel 12, bringing you exclusive coverage of the inaugural ceremony here at the Samuel Kayando Sports Stadium. The President-elect, Ambassador George Weah, has just entered, and he is taking his seat reserved for him on the platform. And we are about to get this program going. We're about to get this program going. And like I said, in accordance with the 1986 Constitution, Article 53, the legislature is to jointly assemble, and the Speaker of the 54th Legislature, Honorable Dr. Buffer Chambers, is expected to preside over the swearing in of the Vice President-elect first, and then the President-elect of the Republic of Liberia. The scene is seismic and static here at the Samuel Kayando Sports Complex, and there are thrones and hundreds and scores of Liberians all across the sports stadium. Everywhere, every inch and micro inch of the stadium is filled with humans, with Liberians, and everyone want to catch a glimpse of the historic events here at the Samuel Kayando Sports Complex. The local media, the international media, interest groups, civil society, international NGOs, they're all here to grace this auspicious program. And I can tell you, we're racing against time to meet up with the 12 o'clock mandate, the 12 o'clock constitutional mandate. The President-elect is expected to be sworn in at 12 midday, at which time he assumes constitutional powers as the Chief Executive Officer of the Republic of Liberia, and henceforth will deliver his inaugural address. But again, we're right here at the open air Samuel Kayando Sports Complex. The mood is ecstatic, is seizing. The President-elect, His Excellency George Weah, has arrived. He's taken a seat. He has greeted members of the Supreme Court of the Republic of Liberia. His Honor Francis Kokpo, Chief Justice, Associate Justice Kabina Jane, Associate Justice Justina Wolokoli, Associate Justice, and of course all other dignitaries, I tell you, they are here and making sure that this program is smoothly carried out, and the stadium is filled to its maximum capacity. And I can tell you from my own guesstimation, anything around 40,000 plus. From my own guesstimation, anything around 40,000 plus will do it for the total number of spectators here. Anything around 40,000 plus will do it for my own guesstimated figure of the total number of spectators here at the Samuel Kayando Sports Complex. Again, any moment from now, we are going to join the platform where the joint session, the joint session of the legislature is expected to be convened, and Speaker of the 54th House of Legislature, Honorable Dr. Barbara Chambers, is already here. But now we'll take a couple of songs from various invited choir, and the Church of the President-elect, the Georgia Patton Memorial United Methodist Church, they've been fully represented here. The Georgia Patton United Methodist Church, they've been fully represented here. They all done in their white linen suits for the women with red hair ties. They're all here represented. And like I said, it's not only going to be a transfer of political power, it's also going to be a transfer of religious power, because the Vice President of the Republic of Liberia is a Baptist. He worships at the Effort Baptist Church. And the incoming Vice President, Her Excellency Jewel Howard Taylor, is also a Baptist. The President of the Republic of Liberia, Madam Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, is a Methodist. And the President-elect is also a Methodist. So you see, is a two-pronged transfer. Well, in the meantime, between time, we'll go strictly to the choir, which is on the left side of the stage, and they're giving a perfect rendition of the Liberian national anthem. Yes, exactly. This is what it is. This is what it is at the open air Samuel Kanyando Sports Complex outside the capital of Monrovia here in Painesville. That was a rendition of the national anthem, and we'll join the rest of the group to sing the national anthem of the Republic of Liberia. Alright folks, this is Hot TV Channel 12 and FM 107.9, bringing you exclusive coverage of the inaugural ceremony here at the open air Samuel Kanyando Sports Complex in Painesville City outside Monrovia. And you just heard a rendition of the national anthem by the combined inaugural choir. A rendition of the national anthem by the combined inaugural choir. And they did that very, very excellently. And now we'll go for the invocation done by the Reverend Festus Logan, who is the National Chaplain General of the Coalition for Democratic Change, the party in which Ambassador George Weah won the elections on. Yes, that's the CDC's National Chaplain General, Reverend Festus Logan. is being called on the podium to give the invocation. All right, so folks, the events here, they're seismic. All right, the master of ceremony is asking if Reverend Festus Logan isn't around, then Bishop Isaac Winker of the Winners Chapel Faith International can step in his stead to carry out the invocation. And so any moment from now we'll be hearing an invocation. We'll be hearing an invocation either by Reverend Festus Logan of the CDC or Bishop Isaac Winger of the Winners Chapel Faith. All right, let's go for the invocation.
Father God, I stand on behalf of all Liberians today to say thank you. Thank you. Thank you for what you've done for us. Thank you for giving smooth landing for that the transition. Thank you. All the glory, all the praise, all the honor we give to you today. While we are here, thank you for your good hand upon their
Yeah, that
lives.
carried the speaker.
Now this ceremony can you by divine arrangement accept.
Wait, let me get something from there. All right, microphone on test. Can you hear me? All right. Can you?
Good morning, Mr. Speaker and members of the 54th Legislature, honorable ladies and gentlemen. I am honored to announce to you the opening of this special joint session for the sole purpose of administering the oath of office to the President-elect, Ambassador George Weah, and Vice President-elect, Honorable Joel Howard Taylor of the Republic of Liberia. And now, therefore, this joint session is hereby called to order. It is hereby so ordered.
Mr. Secretary of the Senate, is there a quorum to start the official business of the legislature?
Mr. Speaker and Presiding Officer,
I will now entertain a motion for the Senate and an honorable House of Representatives to resolve into joint section for the sole purpose of the inauguration of the 24th President-elect, His Excellency Ambassador George Weah, and Vice President-elect, Her Excellency Joel Taylor. I will entertain a motion from Honorable Muna E. Pelon Youngblood, Monserrado County, Electoral District 9.
Honorable Speaker, Honorable Deputy Speaker, my distinguished colleagues, in compliance with Article 53A of the Liberia Constitution, which calls for the convening of a special session of the 54th Legislature for the sole purpose of administering the oath of affirmation to the office of the President-elect and the Vice President-elect, I now therefore, Honorable Muna E. Pelham Youngblood, representative of Electoral District Number 9, Monserrado County, and Chair on Executive, do hereby move, if I can obtain a second, that this session be conveyed for the order of today's business.
I will now entertain a second from Senator J. Blubber Brown of Maryland County. His Excellency Ambassador George Weah, President-elect, and Her Excellency Senator Joel Howard Taylor, Vice President-elect of the Republic of Liberia. And it is here so ordered. So, what time is it? Yeah. So, for the essence of today's program to be in line with the normal protocol, there will be an interlude of music. Mr. MC, or Chief of Protocol, please proceed.
All right, so in accordance with Article 53A of the 1986 Constitution of the Republic of Liberia, there has been a convening of the joint legislature, members of the House of Representatives and members of the House of Senate. A quorum has been formed and has been moved and seconded that the both houses can now conduct normal business in terms of administering the oath of affirmation for the Vice President-elect and the President-elect, Her Excellency Madam Jewel Howard Taylor, and His Excellency Ambassador. The 12 o'clock, due to the fact we've not reached the 12 noon mark, we will have an interlude of music.
The President of Congo Brazzaville.
The Excellency, the President of Congo Brazzaville has just stepped in. Okay, has just arrived and he's been shown a seat.
As we wait for student de Gaulle, would like the Armed Forces of Liberia Band to give us a selection.
The Armed Forces of Liberia Band is about to give a rendition.
AFL Band.
The mighty AFL Band.
Okay, he's here.
Okay.
So we'll invite him to the podium now for his poem.
That's Master Virgil de Gaulle, a student of the Joy of Learning Montessori Institute. He's about to read a poem, or recite a poem, if you will. Little Master Virgil de Gaulle, a student of the Joy of Learning Montessori Institute in Monrovia.
All protocol observed and sustained. Good afternoon. My name is Virgil A. de Gaulle from the Joy of Learning Montessori Institute, Incorporated, situated along the Dallaston Road, 5th Street, St. Paul, Monrovia, Liberia. I will be doing a poem which projects the President-elect George Manuel Weah and the benefit of his presidency to Liberians. My poem is entitled, What I See. About 52 years ago, a gem was uncovered in a tiny West African country called Liberia. This gem, uncouth, was not noticed and was considered a brass. As times elapsed and destiny shifted, this gem gradually polished itself to intense and sunshine until it was first recognized by the Cameroonian soccer legend Roger Miller as the Black Diamond of Africa. Yes, this gem transformed from being a worthless brass to be the best of the best diamond of all diamonds. This diamond, our living legend, President-elect George Manuel Usman Weah, painstakingly moved himself from the doldrums of poverty to becoming the only Liberian and African to win the title of the world best football player in the year 1995. Oh, what a blessing for we Liberians to have him as our president. Yes, this philanthropist who has won many trophies has helped and is still assisting Liberians in the world at large. Our president-elect is a symbol of hope for every Liberian child, whether from a poor or rich background. And that is what I see in his presidency. Looking over the horizon, I see a dawn of a new era, an era of unblemished hope, a hope of resounding positive change, a change so resolute that the wall of corruption will be ultimately shattered and the wall of economic empowerment erected, the wall of inequality demolished, and the wall of true justice built, the wall of poverty broken down, and the wall of prosperity raised, the wall of educational decadence obliterated, and the wall of an enlightened educational system ushered in. The wall of medieval roads, infrastructure be extinguished, and the wall of infrastructure renaissance be established. To end, ladies and gentlemen, generally, to our incoming leaders In particularly, I need you to pay heed to these wise words of the 10th President of the United States, John Gerald Kennedy. He said, and I quote, "Ask not what your country can do for you, but ask what you can do for your country." Thanks.
And Master Virgil de Gaulle, a student of the Joy of Learning Montessori Institute, just brilliantly recited a poem entitled "What I See." And in that poem, he summarized all of his anticipations and all of his expectations of the new president, Ambassador George Minor Weah. Let's return to the joint chambers, which has been housed here at the Samuel Kainudu Sports Complex.
So second, it has been moved and seconded that this joint legislative session is now in executive. Thank you. You can proceed now. You can proceed. You can proceed.
It is my honor and pleasure to recognize and welcome to this event the President of the Republic of Guinea and Chairman of the African Union, His Excellency Alpha Condé.
His Excellency Professor Dr. Alpha Condé, President of the Republic of Guinea, has just arrived and he's been ushered to his seat.
Republic of Togo, His Excellency Yasingbe.
The President of Togo, His Excellency Faure Gnassingbé, has been ushered to his seat. He just joined this program. His Excellency Professor Dr. Alpha Condé from Guinea also just stepped in, followed by His Excellency the President of Togo, Mr. Faure Gnassingbé. And so it's all here at the inaugural ceremony of Liberia's 25th president, and we're basking in the warmth of the sun, and temperatures between 30 to 35 degrees Celsius. It's hot, but we're enjoying the view. Also, the president of Burkina Faso has also arrived, and they're going to be ushered to their seats by the protocol, and the stadium is jammed packed. Honorable
Introduce the ECOWAS Parliament, who are representing the ECOWAS Commission at this occasion.
Honorable Edwin Snow.
Honorable Speaker, distinguished ladies and gentlemen of the 54th Legislature of the Republic of Liberia, I'm pleased at this time to recognize some dignitaries from other parliaments. We'll begin with the Honorable Speaker of the ECOWAS Parliament, Speaker Mustafa Sisselo of Senegal. Mr. President, you are welcome. Mr. Speaker. Thank you. We also want to recognize the President of the Nigerian Senate, who is visiting with us. Mr. President, Mr. Speaker, you are welcome, sir. We also want to recognize the Deputy Speaker of the Republic of Sierra Leone, Mr. Shino Ba. Saw him somewhere. Mr. Ba, you are welcome. We also want to recognize the Speaker of the Parliament of Morocco, who is also visiting with us. At this time, we also want to recognize the ECOWAS Parliament Female Association, ECO-FRIPA. The women of the ECOWAS Parliament are here in full to support the Vice President-elect, Madam Jewel Howard-Taylor. So the women from the ECOWAS Parliament are also here, and a huge portion of the ECOWAS Parliament are also here to give support to His Excellency President-elect George Minor Weah, who is a member, till a few minutes now, is still a member of the ECOWAS Parliament. So the Parliament is here in full to give support to our outgoing member of the ECOWAS Parliament. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, and honorable distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Thank you.
All right, Honorable Edwin Melvin Snow, who represents Senjit District in Grand Cape Mountain County, who's also the chairman on foreign affairs, and he stepped up the podium to recognize members of the sub-regional parliament, members of the sub-regional parliament. He did recognize the deputy speaker of the Nigerian parliament and a couple of other politically high-profile legislative individuals. And let's see how we can take a panoramic view of how events gonna turn out. And so we're gradually moving to the 12 noon constitutional time frame, wherein the president-elect and the vice president-elect are expected to be sworn in at exactly 12 noon, when they officially will be given constitutional power to assume the office of the vice president and the president of the Republic of Liberia. It's a huge turn of events, and there are several African heads of state. The president of Togo is here, Faulkner Asingbe. The president of Burkina Faso is here. The president of Ghana is here. The president of Ghana is here, and we've been to former presidents of Ghana, two former presidents of Ghana, John Dramani Mahama, who headed the ECOWAS observer mission during the December 26th run of elections here in Liberia, and Jerry John Rawlings, the former president of Ghana, is also here, and there are several other international dignitaries that have graced today's occasion. Indeed, the stadium is jam-packed, filled to its capacity, and we're basking in the warmth of the sun. Temperatures are anything between 25 to 30 degrees Celsius here on this lovely Monday, and this lovely Monday morning, as we're about to witness history. Indeed, it's been 74 long years since 1944.
And recognize the President of Mali, His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Mali.
President of Mali has just entered, and he's been welcomed on the platform. He's been greeted by other heads of states, and he's also been ushered to his seat. And so more and more foreign guests are due to come, and later on in today's event, right after the inaugural address, is expected that there will be an inaugural luncheon at the ground floor of the Samuel Kanyado Sports Complex.
We have other distinguished
that's only reserved for invited guests,
who like
and not
to
for everyone.
recognize Mrs. Fatumata Jallo Dambajan, Vice President of the Republic of the Gambia.
The female
Also,
vice president,
the
she's also here.
Of Political Affairs of the African Union Commission, Ambassador Sesuma.
Okay, other members of the African Union Observer Mission, they're here to grace
The inaugural
this
choir,
occasion.
the combined inaugural choir, will now give us our selection.
The combined inaugural choir will again give us another selection as we save time for the 12 noon constitutional period, a time frame wherein the vice president and the president-elect is expected to be sworn in. And so we await the combined inaugural choir to give us a rendition as we await the 12 noon constitutional period for the swearing in of the vice president and the president of the Republic of Liberia. Indeed, just a brief history, Liberia is not the first country to see its inaugural ceremony held at a stadium. In 2015, tough talking president in Tanzania, President John Magufuli, held his inaugural ceremony at the Uhuru Stadium there in Tanzania, and President Thabo Mbeki of South Africa also held his inaugural ceremony in honor. This has done popular leaders all across the world. And one of the preeminent factors that gave rise to the hosting of this event here is the additional works being done at the Capitol building. The People's Republic of China has graciously added 2 annexes to the already existing Capitol building to house more offices and conferences, and also to house some resource centers for our lawmakers. And so construction works are currently ongoing at the 2 annexes at the Capitol building, which made it very impossible for such an auspicious program to be held at the grounds of the Capitol. And so on Friday, January 19th, by virtue of the joint session of the Liberian legislature that met and agreed for the transfer of venue of the inaugural ceremony from the grounds of the Capitol building to the Samuel Kanyado Sports Complex, which we are now seeing. And so it was their first sitting on the 19th of January when the joint chambers of the House of Representatives and the House of Senate agreed to have a transfer of venue here at the Samuel Kanyado Sports Complex. Again, this program is officially brought to you by Hot FM 107.9 and Hot TV Channel 12. And we're broadcasting to you exclusively from the grounds of the Samuel Kanyado Sports Complex. And let's say many thanks to our able Chief Executive Officer, Mr. Bernard DJ Blue Benson, for his enormous efforts being made here to ensure that. We'll be right back after this quick adjustment.
Thank you, choir. We also like to acknowledge the presence of the ex-Prime Minister who is representing the President of Egypt. We want to welcome him. We also want to welcome the Chair of the Council of Nations, representative of His Excellency, the President of Algeria. The Special Representative of the President of Ukraine, we also want to take this time to welcome you. We will now invite the Marshal of the Supreme Court.
motion for regular session. It has been moved and seconded that the session be open. So, all those in favor, make a move by saying yeah. Those against? Those against? Ladies and gentlemen, with a unanimous vote to resolve into joint session for the sole purpose, as stated earlier, the 54th legislature is hereby resolved into said session to have the 24th president-elect, His Excellency John Weah, and the Vice President-elect, Her Excellency Joy Howard Taylor, inaugurated into their respective offices, and it is hereby so ordered. You can proceed.
We'll now invite the Chief Justice, His Honor Francis Copper, for the administering of the oath of office to the President-elect and the Vice President-elect.
Alright, so we're still here at the grounds of the Samuel Kando Sports Complex, and just on the side of the platform where all the activities are being done, we're currently witnessing legislative politics, where a joint session of the Liberian legislature is being convened, and the speaker of the 54th Liberian legislature has already set the tone for the swearing in, and the Chief Justice of the Republic of Liberia is
will proceed to escort President-elect to take the oath of office.
I
will support, uphold, protect, and defend the Constitution and laws of the Republic of Liberia, their true faith,
allegiance
to
the Republic, and will faithfully, conscientiously, and impartially discharge the duties and functions of the office of President of the Republic of Liberia. So help me God.
The president, we can now say the president of the Republic of Liberia, George Weah, has taken of affirmation, and he's currently Liberia's 25th president. Congratulations to you, Ambassador George Weah. Congratulations to you, and we wish you well in your endeavor. At exactly 12 noon. And weah, his wife,
Vice President-elect of the Republic of Liberia, to take the oath of office.
Quiet as the Chief Justice administers the oath of office to the Vice President. Let all the singing cease, please. Order, order, order.
Vice President-elect, will repeat after me. I, Joel Howard Taylor, do solemnly swear that I will support, uphold, protect, and defend the Constitution, and laws of the Republic of Liberia, their true faith, and allegiance to the Republic, and will faithfully, conscientiously, and impartially discharge the duties and functions
of the office of Vice President
of the office of Vice President
of the Republic of Liberia
to the best of my ability. So help me God.
And is done and dusted. Madam Joel Howard Taylor is Liberia Vice President, and she's just sworn an oath of affirmation right after President George Weah did his. And I think there was a reversal in protocol because what we're used to is the Vice President-elect taking an oath of affirmation before the President-elect taking his oath of affirmation. But it's been a reversal. The President-elect did take his oath of affirmation first, and right after that followed by the Vice President-elect. And it's after 12, President George Manneh Weah and Vice President Jewel Howard Taylor, congratulations to you two. We wish you well. We wish you live up to the expectations of the millions of Liberians who have their hopes tucked on your shoulders. And so let's return to the ceremony. Is going to continue with this
who will admit into the order as Grand Master the President of the Republic of Liberia, His Excellency Mr. George Manneh Weah.
So, President George Manneh Weah is about to give his inaugural oration, and this man has been in the hearts of millions of Liberians as
the Grand Cordon and the star of the most venerable order of the pioneers of the Republic of Liberia. And sire, may I ask you to allow me to assist you to put them on your present, the distinguished son of Liberia.
John Chancellor, I'm honored you may put it on my person.
President George Weah has been sashed with a ceremonial sash that bestows upon him the powers of the presidency. Liberia indeed is on fire. Liberia indeed is bursting out with exhilaration, happiness, joy, ecstasy as it witnesses its first transition after 74 years. Congratulations to all of us Liberians who have kept the peace and maintained a very tranquil country. And the sash has been stitched on the body of, on the clothing of President George Manneh Weah as he's about to mount the platform to give his inaugural oration. I tell you, in over 40,000 gathered here at the Samuel Kayando Sports Complex cannot hold it. They're in ecstasy, they're in stuck. And I can see the face of someone who has burst out into tears, someone who is crying. And these events are characteristics of
at this time, ladies and gentlemen, I will now call on the Cutlass Party to lower the Liberian flag. Ladies and gentlemen, members of the flag party include Master Sergeant G. Shadow, Sergeant Major 1st Infantry Battalion, 23rd Infantry Brigade, Armed Forces of Liberia. Staff Sergeant Lehman Abraham, Staff Sergeant Rogers Harris, Sergeant Ajivon Benedict, Sergeant Nimle George, Sergeant D. McDavid, and Sergeant Tony Wesley. Ladies and gentlemen, what you're going to be witnessing here today happens every time there's a change of regime. This flag will be lowered forward by the non-commissioned officer in charge of the flag duty turn over to the commander of troops. Commander of troops will turn the flag over to the chief of staff of the armed forces of Liberia, and later be turned over to the former president of this republic, Her Excellency Madam Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. Please stand for the lowering of the Liberian flag. At the lowering of the Liberian flag, all military and paramilitary personnel wearing uniform will run a hand salute.
All right, so we're about to take the salute of the flag as it's been lowered by a non-commissioned officer, and all have been asked to stand in reverence of the Liberian
flag has been lowered by the flag party of the armed forces of Liberia.
It's a normal.
They will now fold the flag.
Lieutenant
Master Sergeant G. to Sergeant Major, 1st Infantry Battalion, 23rd Infantry Brigade. Is the non-commissioned officer in charge of the flag party. Ladies and gentlemen, the flag party is now performing a folding ceremony for the Liberian flag. Once more, ladies and gentlemen, members of the flag party include Staff Sergeant Rogers Harris, Staff Sergeant Lima Abraham, Sergeant Benedict Ajivon, Sergeant Beeman David, and Sergeant Nimlin Josh. And of course, the non-commissioned officer in charge of the flag party, Master Sergeant G. Shadow, Sergeant Major, 1st Infantry Battalion, 23rd Infantry Brigade, Armed Forces of Liberia. As you can see, the non-commissioned officer in charge of the flag party is now performing a drill procedure by uniquely folding the Liberian flag. Ladies and gentlemen, lowering that flag, folding it, and placing it in a cage, turning it over to Her Excellency Madam Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, signifies the end of our regime. Flag has been folded by the non-commissioned officer in charge of the flag party. Master Sergeant Kua Plazian now moved with the cage to the non-commissioned officer in charge of the flag party to place the flag in the cage. Master Sergeant Kua Plazian is the Command Sergeant Major of the 23rd Infantry Brigade, Armed Forces of Liberia. The commander of troops now moved 6 steps away from the flag party in readiness to receive the Liberian flag.
Okay, so we're still here at the grounds of the Samuel Kaindo Sports Stadium, where thousands of Liberians are witnessing history being made here by the smooth democratic transition of political power from Her Excellency outgoing president, Madam Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, to our incoming president, His Excellency Ambassador George Weah. Indeed, the feeling here is one of joy and calm.
The flag party is still caging the flag. The flag has been caged, given by the Command Sergeant Major of the 23rd Infantry Brigade to the non-commissioned officer in charge of the flag party. He now turned about and moved to the commander of troops. Once more, ladies and gentlemen, the commander of troops for today's parade is Captain Blasili Michael Wilson, commanding officer, 2nd Infantry Battalion, 23rd Infantry Brigade, Armed Forces of Liberia. He now receives the flag from Master Sergeant G. Shadow. Master Sergeant G. Shadow now pay compliment to the colors and move back to his position. The commander of troops now move to the Chief of Staff of the Armed Forces of Liberia, who will now receive the flag. Chief of Staff now pay compliment to the colors. He received the colors from the commander of troops. Commander of troops pay compliment to the colors, turn about. Chief of Staff turn about and move to the former president and the former commander-in-chief of the Armed Forces of Liberia, Her Excellency Madam Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. Ladies and gentlemen, this signifies the end of Madam Ellen regime. The Chief of Staff now moved to the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of Liberia, His Excellency George Weah. He received a new flag. He now moved to the Commander of Troops. The Commander of Troops now received the flag from the Chief of Staff of the Armed Forces of Liberia. Commander of Troops now turned about, moving to the non-commissioned officer in charge of the flag party, who will now receive the flag for hosting. Ladies and gentlemen, the flag is not just a symbol. It is not just a symbol, it is a stripe that represents a nation, the embodiments of its people, ideals and value. The non-commissioned officer in charge now moved back to the pole with the new Liberian flag given by His Excellency Ambassador George Weah. Ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, under the grandstand is the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of Liberia, His Excellency George Weah, alongside the former President of this Republic, Her Excellency Madam Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, remain standing for the hosting of the flag. Ladies and gentlemen, the flag has been hosted. This signifies a dawn of a new day in Liberia. The beginning of His Excellency George Weah regime. Ladies and gentlemen, remain standing as His Excellency George Weah Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of Liberia, takes his seat. Ladies and gentlemen, the change of seats has been performed. The flag party will now retire.
We're back on the big station, Hadavan 107.9 and Hat TV channel 12, and you can view this program also live via the Liberia Telecommunications Trust.
Ladies and gentlemen, Excellencies, I have the greatest honor to invite the President of the Republic of Liberia, His Excellency, Mr. George Mana Weah, to deliver his inaugural address.
Excellency Madam Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, Excellency Head of State, Ambassador Joseph Nyimabwaka, Honorable Joel Howard Taylor, Vice President of the Republic of Liberia, the Governing Council of the Tripartite Coalition Democratic Change, CDC, Madam Claire Marie Weah, First Lady of the Republic of Liberia, His Honor the Chief Justice and Associate Justices of the Supreme Court of the Republic of Liberia, Mr. Speaker and members of the House of Representatives, the Honorable Pro Tempore and members of the Liberian Senate, the Dean and members of the Cabinet, the Special Representatives of the UN Secretary General and other representatives of the United Nations, the Don and members of the Diplomatic Corps, our international partners and political stakeholders, our religious community and traditional council, market women, the student body, the Fourth Estate, special guests, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. My fellow citizens, I am humble and thankful for the trust and hope you have put in me. I am filled with joy and proud to see celebrating what is truly an historic moment for our country. To all our citizens and international guests for coming. I have spent many years of my life in stadiums, but today is a feeling like no other. I am overwhelmed with the crowd and the energy here today, and I guarantee you, when we finish, there will not be a winner or the loser. Today we all wear the jersey of Liberia, and the victory belongs to the people, to the peace, and to our democracy. The tens of thousands of Liberians here today, and many more in our community across the country who are listening, gathered together around radios in the Palava Hut. It is to you we are responsible to deliver the change you deserve. Indeed, we must deliver the change that our people need in order to transform our lives for the better. I promise to do everything in my power to be the agent of positive change, but I cannot do it alone. First, I call upon the revealed institution that hosts us today and from which the Vice President and I come, the legislative, our co-equal branch of government, to work with me to create and pass essential laws that are needed to complete the foundation of this nation. Together, we hold our citizens clarity on fundamental issues such as the land beneath their feet, freedom of speech, and how national resources and responsibility are going to be shifted from this capital to the county. The people expect better cooperation and more action from their government. We can do better together. Today, Liberians have reached an important milestone in the never-ending journey for freedom, justice, and democracy. A surge that has remained central to our history as a nation. Many of those who founded this country left the pain and shame of slavery to establish a society where all will be free and equal. But that vision of freedom, equality, and democracy has not yet been realized. That human longing for the true and lasting freedom has revealed itself in many ways since Liberia's founding. Sometimes the drive has been divisive and confrontational, and too often violent, bloody, and deadly, as it was in the 14 years of civil conflict, when the essence of equality and unity led us down the path of destroying our own country. Notwithstanding the harshness and immeasurable cost of the lesson, we have learned that equality and freedom are never just a final destination that the people or a nation reaches. These are the fundamental human rights that our people deserve, and that must be held up and measured against our action, our policy, our laws, and our people are those elected to serve the people. Almost 50 years ago, Liberians laid down their arms and renewed their hope for a better and more equal society. With the help of regional partners, the United Nations, we chose democracy as our path and elected the first post-war government, which was led by Her Excellency Madam Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. Your Excellency, I thank you for laying the foundation upon which we can now stand in peace and to advance progress for our country. But this inaugural ceremony signals more than a peaceful transition from one democratic administration to another. It is also a transition from one generation of Liberian leadership to a new generation. It is indeed a confirmation that democracy exists in Liberia, and that it is here to stay. We have arrived at this transition neither by violence nor by force of arms. Not a single life was lost in the process. Blood should never be the price tag for democracy. Rather, this transition was achieved by the free and democratic will of the Liberian people, guaranteed by the rule of law. This inaugural gathering also celebrates an important precedent that we Liberians can and will rely on established institutions and the rule of law to resolve our political agreements. This demonstrates the maturity of our institutions and that we as a people have learned valuable lessons from our brutal history. My fellow Liberians, let none the splendor of these ceremonies, none the celebration of electoral victory, make us forget how we arrived at this moment. We have arrived here on the blood, sweat, tears, and suffering of so many of our citizens, too many of whom died, longing for real freedom and equality. Today, we must remember the hundreds of thousands who died and many more whose lives were upended and families displaced because we lost the sight of the fact that we can only reach a higher state of equality and freedom by treating each other with love and respect, not tearing each other down. Truly taking this lesson to heart will bring the dawn of the new Liberia, so that their deaths would not be in vain. I solemnly pledge today, with the help of all of you, my fellow citizens, to build a Liberia of equality, freedom, dignity, and respect for one another. Let us all stand for a moment of silence to remember those who died on our soil, in our conflict, and by our own hands. Let it never be so again. Thank you. Please be seated. My fellow citizens, ladies and gentlemen, on this day of inauguration, as we begin to build upon the foundation of this new Liberia, I, George Funke Klonjrade Bakugbe Tape Maneweah, your new president, must first give thanks and praises to the Almighty God for the blessing He has bestowed upon our country. And I say, my people, thank you, Yah. Thank you, Yah, for entrusting me with the responsibility of leading the effort to build this new and better Liberia. It will be my task, my duty, and my honor to lead this nation from division to national unity and toward a future of hope and prosperity. I've here taken an oath before you, and therefore, and before the Almighty God, to uphold the Constitution and to pray to preside over this government and this country to the best of my ability. Rest assured, I will not let you down. And so, my fellow citizens, I want to acknowledge you that the foundation of the new Liberia must be reinforced by the steel of integrity. We need men and women, boys and girls, whose integrity provides the foundation of the trust that is required for Liberian society to benefit her people. My fellow citizens, ladies and gentlemen, during my tenure as president of Liberia, the loudest battle cry that must ring from the mountain of Wologizi to the peak of Yekepa, from the ranges of Putu to the hills of Bomi, and from the coast of Harbour to the shores of Morovia, must be the cry for national unity. We should strive to put aside our differences and join hands in the task of our nation building. We must learn how to celebrate our diversity without drawing lines of division in our new Liberia. We belong to Liberia first before we belong to our inherited tribes or chosen counties. We must not allow political loyalties prevent us from collaborating in the national interest. We must respect each other and act as neighbors, regardless of religious, social, and economic differences. In the words of our national anthem, a union strong, success assured, we cannot fail. United, we are certain to succeed as a nation. Divided, we are certain to fail. My fellow citizens, ladies and gentlemen, it is my belief that the most effective way to directly impact the poor and to narrow the gap between the rich and poor is to ensure that public resources do not end up in the pocket of government officials. I further believe that the overwhelming mandate that I received from the Liberian people is a mandate to end corruption in public service. I promise to deliver on this mandate. As officials of government, it is time to put the interests of our people above our own selfish interests. It is time to be honest with our people. Though corruption is a habit amongst our people, we must end it. We must pay civil servants a living wage so that corruption is not an excuse for taking what is not theirs. For those who do not refrain from enriching themselves at the expense of the people, the law will take a course. I say today that you will be prosecuted to the full extent of the law. To the private sector, I say to you, Liberia is open for business. We want to be known as a business-friendly government. We will do all that is within our power to provide an environment that will become conducive for the conduct of honest and transparent business. We will remove unnecessary regulatory constraints that tend to impede the establishment and operation of business in a profitable and predictable manner. As we open our doors to all foreign direct investment, we will not permit Liberian-owned businesses to be marginalized. As we open our doors to all foreign direct investment, we will not permit Liberian-owned businesses to be marginalized. We cannot remain spectators in our own economy. My government will prioritize the interests of Liberian-owned businesses and offer programs to help them become more competitive and offer services that international investors seek as partners. My fellow Liberians, this victory could not have been possible without the support of the youth of this country, the women of this country, especially those who make their living by selling in the markets. To all of you, I want to say a heartfelt thank you. This is your government. In the famous words of President Abraham Lincoln of the United States of America, a government of the people, by the people, and for the people. We could not have arrived at this day without our voices being heard loudly, and all our views, no matter how critical, being freely expressed in an atmosphere void of intimidation and arrest. This was only made possible by the tolerance of my predecessor, Her Excellency Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, who protected the rights of freedom of speech as enshrined in our Constitution. Now, in my turn, I will go further to encourage and reinforce not only freedom of speech, but also freedom of political assembly. My fellow citizens, ladies and gentlemen, to change the structure of Liberian economy will require huge investment in agriculture, infrastructure, in human capital, and in the technology. We hope our international development partners will assist us in this transformation. Meanwhile, on behalf of all Liberians, I would like to thank the international community for the invaluable contributions they have made to our peace and economic development. I thank the economic community of the West African states, the ECOWAS, for standing with Liberia throughout these years. Many of our West African brothers and sisters shed their blood for Liberians during our conflict. This is a debt Liberians will never be able to repay. We count these fallen West African soldiers among the martyrs of our history. Without their supreme sacrifices, this day would not have been possible. ECOWAS will continue to play a very meaningful role during my presidency. I also thank the United Nations for the important role it has played in Liberia. We stood with the United Nations at its founding when it was just an idea driven by ideas. Then in our darkest day, the UN stood with us. The UN peacekeeping mission have ensured unbroken peace within our borders for more than a decade, and will soon demonstrate their confidence in us by transitioning its tax from peacekeeping program of the UN organization, which will continue in key sectors such as education, health, and agriculture. Ending the peacekeeping mission successfully is something which all Liberians and our partners should take great pride. We thank all members countries of the United Nations for your support, and I promise to continue to build on the success that we have achieved together. To the government and people of the United States of America, we thank you for your strong support over the years. The Republic of Liberia has a strong historic relationship with the United States of America, which has manifested itself, and that relationship will even be stronger under my administration. To the European Union, I say thank you for your strong partnership with Liberia. European aid has provided critical support for Liberia's recovery from war, and this continued support will be important as we forge a new path of transformation. Without Europe, George Weah would not be standing here delivering this inaugural address as 24th President of the Republic of Liberia. It was my success in European football that enabled me to give back to my beloved country. Europe will always have a special place in my heart. And as President, I intend to strengthen my relationship with the European community for the benefit of all Liberians. The Samuel Kanyando Sports Complex to the People Republic of China, I say to you, Sheshe. Our administration will continue to support the One China policy. China has emerged as one of Liberia's most dependable allies. It is my hope that Chinese-Liberian relationships will grow stronger during my tenure as president. The Samuel Kanyando Sports Complex, built by the Chinese, where this inaugural ceremony is being held, is where I gain my exposure to the football world. It does not only stand as a monument of Chinese friendship towards Liberians, but it also stands as a symbol of peace and reconciliation for Liberian people. During our civil conflict, this was the venue that brought opposing factions together during national marches, effectively reconciling them to a single national purpose, Liberia. And once again today, we stand at this same venue, united for one purpose, Liberia. This is the time that we put away our political differences to work together in forging a new Liberia where the affordability of all goods and services will no longer be luxury to the privileged, but rather a right for all Liberians. To the African Union, I also say thank you for standing with Liberia over the past several years. Liberia has always had an historic relationship with the AU. As a founding member of the African Union, I look forward to participating with my colleagues at the forthcoming summit, where we intend to utilize the resources and expertise of the African Union for the benefit of our country. To other bilateral and multilateral partners, I say a sincere thanks to you, the World Bank, Sweden, the United Kingdom, Germany, Japan, Norway, Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, to name too few, have also played important roles in Liberia's emergence from conflict and will remain critical for the transformation we seek. My fellow Liberians, my greatest contribution to this country as president may not lies in the eloquence of my speeches, but will definitely lie in the quality of the decision that I will make over the next 6 years to advance the lives of poor Liberians. I intend to construct the greatest machinery of pro-poor governance in the history of this country. I will do more than my fair share to meet your expectation. I ask you to meet mine, for I cannot do it alone. Mine is an expectation that you, fellow citizens, will rise up and take control and responsibility for your destiny. That you will look away from the things that divide us and draw strength and energy from the things that unite us. Mine is an expectation that you will push yourselves to achieve the possibility that are within your reach. That you will aim to do more for yourselves and expect others to do less.
The sole purpose of the inauguration of the 24th President of the Republic of Liberia, His Excellency George Weah, and Vice President, Her Excellency Madam Joe Howard Taylor, into their respective offices, I will entertain a motion to adjourn this joint legislative session. Honorable Geraldine Doe Sharif of Montserrado County.
Mr. Speaker and Presiding Officer, distinguished members of the 54th Legislature, having satisfied the aims and objectives and in compliance with Article 53A of the Constitution of Liberia, the joint assembly of the legislature for the sole purpose of inaugurating His Excellency President George Weah, Honorable Madam Joelle Howard Taylor, Vice President, I, Senator Geraldine M. Doe Sharif, Senior Senator of Montserrat County, Chairman and Executive, one of the longest serving senators of the Liberian Senate, with the power now vested in me, I moved, if I can obtain a second, that this session be adjourned.
We will entertain a second from Honorable Clarence Massaquoi of Lofa County Electoral District 3.
Okay, so
Dr.
we will join the platform.
Speaker of the 54th Legislature and presiding officer of this Joint Legislative Assembly, Honorable Deputy Speaker, President Pro Tempore of the Honorable Liberian Senate, my esteemed colleagues, I, Honorable Clarence Kotu Momolu Massaquoi, representing the people of Lofa District Number 3, do hereby second the motion calling for the adjournment of this session.
Honorable ladies and gentlemen of the 54th Legislature, having with the motion of adjournment in place, this joint convention of both houses of the 54th Legislature of the Republic of Liberia is hereby adjourned, and it is so hereby ordered.
The former President of the Republic of Liberia will retire and shall be accompanied by His Excellency the President of the Republic of Liberia, George Weah.
Okay, folks, welcome back to Hot FM 107.9 and Hot TV Channel 12. We're back at the grounds of the Samuel Kando Sports Complex, where the President of the Republic of Liberia, His Excellency Ambassador George Weah, has just concluded with his inaugural address. A call for national unity, a call for tranquility, a call for all to put their hands on deck to attain this change that we all desire. And a couple of points that are jotted down during his oration. I'm going to be talking about them as we close up on the official ceremonies here. And on stage, the President and the former President will retire. They will have to, and been made to understand there's an inaugural luncheon that's scheduled later on this afternoon at the ground floor of the Samuel Kanyando Sports Complex. And so I've been told that invited guests,
The program is not over yet.
Invited guests,
Please take your seats.
along with the President, will later on this afternoon be ushered to the ground floor where the inaugural luncheon will be held. But we're still here. The program has not ended yet. The program hasn't ended yet, and we're still following the official protocol here at the inaugural ceremony.
all of the protocol officers and the escorts are ready to take them to the airport. After the program, His Excellency the President will tender a luncheon on behalf of his guests, his friends, his family members, and those that he has invited for the luncheon. It shall be held right in the presidential tent outside of the stadium. All others that have tickets or invitations to the luncheon and reception cocktail are asked to proceed right after the program for the cocktails and the reception. There will be a musical concert beginning at 1:30 right here in the stadium, and all of us are invited, all of us, to enjoy the music and celebrate the occasion today. Let us remember that the program is not yet over. We still have the House to close the session. We will have a selection by one of our famous artistic musical group, and then we'll have the closing prayer and benediction. All of those who receive tickets to enter into the stadium today, you will be served at your gates, the entrance of your gates, refreshments for the day. So please let us do it orderly. Remain in your seats as you are served. Thank you. We'd like to recognize the presence and thank him for his participation of Archbishop Duncan Williams and his First Lady. They have graced this occasion, and the services held Thanksgiving and intercessory service on yesterday, Sunday. I want to thank God for his presence. Former President of Ghana, Rollins, will also be retiring. Ladies and gentlemen, please clear the field. Ladies and gentlemen, please clear the way. Please clear the way for the president. Ladies and gentlemen, please clear the way as the president moves to the grandstand. Ladies and gentlemen, please clear the field. Please clear the field for the playing of the national anthem. Ladies and gentlemen, national anthem. The national anthem, first national anthem, will be played under the regime of His Excellency George Weah, President of the Republic of Liberia. Please clear the field. The commander of troops will now inform the commander-in-chief of the Armed Forces of Liberia, President of the Republic of Liberia, for the commander-in-chief inspection of troops. Please clear the field. Please clear the field. Ladies and gentlemen, once more, the commander of troops for today's parade is Captain Blasili Michael Wilson, Commanding Officer, 2nd Infantry Battalion, 23rd Infantry Brigade, Armed Forces of Liberia. Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the Republic of Liberia, alongside the Chief of Staff of the Armed Forces of Liberia, is now conducting a troop inspection by troop in the line. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a military parade. Stop following the president. Stop following the president. stay away. Ladies and gentlemen, commanding the Armed Forces of Liberia Band is Warrant Officer Bobby Lee Bailey and is aided by Warrant Officer Gerrit Merchant. Commanding the Alpha Company is First Lieutenant Emmanuel Dude Wisa and is aided by Sergeant Kova Besa. The Armed Forces Training Command is being commanded by Second Lieutenant Ibrahim Kamara and a Sergeant Major is Staff Sergeant Hawkins. The Logistics Command of the Armed Forces of Liberia is being commanded by Second Lieutenant Jeremiah Wallace and is being aided by Sergeant Boakai Veronica Gadia. The Liberia National Coast Guard is being commanded by Lieutenant Junior Gray Stephen Kamara. The President now make a brief stop at the colors to pay homage to the colors. Ladies and gentlemen, members of the Colors Party include Sergeant Obademu Victor AFL, Sergeant Morgan Lionel AFL, Sergeant Mayango Besa AFL, Sergeant Jala Arthur AFL, Corporal Do Deve AFL. Members of the Colors Party also include Blessing Chokon of the Liberian National Police. The Liberian National Police is being commanded by Superintendent Rose Mariah Sibo. The Liberia Immigration Service is being commanded by Lieutenant Colonel Louis Dennis, and his Sergeant Major is Bernice Bobo. The Liberia National Fire Service is being commanded by Colonel Julia S.M. King. The Liberia Drugs Enforcement Agency is being commanded by Special Agent Jeremiah Nape, and the Liberia Scout Association is being commanded by Scout Commissioner Samuel Cooper. Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes the inspection of troops by the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of Liberia, His Excellency President George Mane Weah. He now moves back to the grandstand. At this time, ladies and gentlemen, the Commander of Troops will now request permission from the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of Liberia to pass the troop in review. Ladies and gentlemen, passing the troop in review is intended for every member of the squad or the team to recognize exactly who's their Commander-in-Chief. Ladies and gentlemen, once more, the Commander of Troops for today's parade is Captain Blasili Michael Wilson, Commanding Officer, 2nd Infantry Battalion, 23rd Infantry Brigade, Armed Forces of Liberia. The Commander of Troops is now moving at the front of the troops to pass the troops in review. troops are moving for review. Ladies and gentlemen, as the President, alongside the Chief of Staff of the Armed Forces of Liberia, move to the review point, please stay away. Do not follow the President. Remain where you are. I say again, ladies and gentlemen, no one follows the President and the Chief of Staff while moving to the review point. Absolutely no one. Please. Ladies and gentlemen, the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of Liberia and President of the Republic of Liberia, His Excellency George Weah, alongside the Chief of Staff of the Armed Forces of Liberia, Major General Daniel D. Zankai Jr., now move to the review point. Ladies and gentlemen, the Commander of Troops now take the troops in review. Once more, the Commander of Troops for today's parade is Captain Blasili Michael Wilson, Commanding Officer, 2nd Infantry Battalion, 23rd Infantry Brigade, Armed Forces of Liberia. The Armed Forces of Liberia Band is being taken through review by Warrant Officer Gerald Merchant, the Drum Major of the Armed Forces of Liberia Band. Commanding Alpha Company is First Lieutenant Emmanuel Dude Wise, Human Resource Officer, 2nd Infantry Battalion, 23rd Infantry Brigade, Armed Forces of Liberia. His Garden Bearer is Jaka Achi, and his First Sergeant is Sergeant Kova Besa. The medical personnel is Private First Class Esther Yewoli. The Armed Forces Training Command is being commanded by 2nd Lieutenant Ibrahim Kamara. His Garden Bearer is Nelson Thomas, and his First Sergeant is Staff Sergeant Hawkins. The medical personnel is Private Flomo. The Logistics Command of the Armed Forces of Liberia is being commanded by 2nd Lieutenant Jeremiah Wallace. His Garden Bearer is Taylor Jr., and his Sergeant Major is Sergeant Bwakai Veronica Gadia. The Liberia National Coast Guard is being commanded by Lieutenant Junior Gray Stephen Kamara. His guidon bearer is Corporal Wapo. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the passing of the colors. Members of the colors party include Sergeant Obademung, Sergeant Morkin, Sergeant Mayango, Sergeant Jala, and Corporal Doe. Commanding the Liberian National Police is Superintendent Rose Mariah Sibo. Commanding the Liberia Immigration Service is Lieutenant Colonel Louis Dennis. His guidon bearer is Otolene O'Kane. And the Sergeant Major is Bernice Bobo. Commanding the Liberian National Fire Service is Colonel Julia S.M. King. The Liberia Drugs Enforcement Agency is being commanded by Special Agent Jeremiah Nape. And the Liberia Scout Association is being commanded by Scout Commissioner Samuel Cooper. Ladies and gentlemen, the President will now move back to his seat. Ladies and gentlemen, clear the way for the President. Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes the inaugural parade of the Armed Forces of Liberia for the 24th inaugural ceremony of the Republic of Liberia. I am Corporal Barney Jesse Gay, Operation Officer, 2nd Infantry Battalion, 23rd Infantry Brigade, Armed Forces of Liberia. Thank you.